All right, it was a win. India has started the ICC Champions Trophy 2025 on a rather solid note with a 6-wicket win against Bangladesh. Shubman Gill starring with 101. KL Rahul with a vital partnership towards the end, a total of 84 runs, that was 87 runs rather, for the 5th wicket. Mohammad Shami earlier the star with 5 wickets. Overall, when you look at it, India will be far happy with the performances, but there are certain areas of concern. Shubman Gill's form is not one of them. A brilliant century which continues his great run in the past 4 ODIs. I mean, 2 50s and 2 hundreds now. Fantastic display indeed from Shubman Gill, and he was ably backed up by KL Rahul.
Who once again showed that he is a big match player.
Man for a crisis.
Yeah.
That is KL Rahul for you.
I think before this we were quoting that 2023 ODI World Cup, Australia, Chepauk, you are like...
India
reeling.
versus Sri Lanka in Eden.
Yeah.
Now here, the Akshar Patel experiment, the promotion this time failed. It had worked against England. Now KL Rahul is there. But it is not a, you may say, a clinical convincing win. Because of 2 factors. The middle overs and the middle order. In that way, when we look at it. So, Nikhil, at the ground, do you think that there is a feeling that this wasn't a clinical India win? It was like they were made to work hard for it. But there are some problem areas which came out in this particular match.
Problem areas, yeah, sure, we can discuss that. And I think every match you need to introspect and look at where are the areas that you can work on. But I mean, again, I'm looking at the bigger picture. If somebody said at the start of this match that India will win with 6 wickets and about 24, 30 balls to spare, I think I would have taken it. I mean, I think that was the matchup between these 2 teams, right? Just go back and forget whatever has happened in this game. Before this game started, if you were looking at this encounter, everyone had given India the edge. But by how much? Were you saying India were clear-cut favorites? Were they playing a minnow? No. What was the general impression? It was that, listen, this is one of the closest competition. You got 8 teams, all match up. On a given day, anyone can upset you. That was the larger context. And then you looked at each game separately, and you looked at India and Bangladesh, and you said, no, India is superior. Are they superior by 51-49? No. Maybe you said they were superior by 60-40 when it came to India-Bangladesh. And I think that's exactly the performance that we saw. And that's exactly the kind of win that, India had. Did we expect India to get Bangladesh out for less than 150? Was that our expectation before the game started? Not quite. Did we expect India to chase down whatever Bangladesh set them in 30, 35 overs? Was that our real expectation before the match started? No. So if it's asked me, before this game started that Bangladesh is batting, how do you see this match going? I would have said that, they get a slightly below par total and India chase it in 42, 43 overs or 45 overs. I think with about, 4, 5 wickets to spare. And I think that's pretty much how the match is really panned out. So it's gone on expected lines. What this match has definitely told us is that it's not an easy pitch to bat on here in Dubai.
Yes, yeah.
And that is going with the trend. This is now telling you the fact that there is a reason why 300 doesn't get beached here in Dubai, whereas it's become a norm in the rest of the world. In fact, 320, 330 has become a par total in a lot of parts of the world, whereas Dubai still remains a ground where about 58 matches and only 4 times 300 has been beached, which tells you that it's a very different pitch and a very different batting conditions to what you see in the rest of the world. And I think it played out to that. Were Bangladesh 20-30 shot in terms of a par total? I think they were. And that's how the match is panned out. Overall, I'd say it's a good lung opener. We use this word in horse racing, before a horse goes for a big race, he runs a minor race or 2, which is called a lung opener, where they just get him used to, get his muscle going, open his lung for a bigger race that might come a week, 10 days, or maybe 2 weeks later. I think that's exactly what's happened here. This is the kind of game that India wanted. It would give India a lot of confidence going into that Pakistan game. Also, it would help India understand the conditions. So next time when they play Pakistan in the next game, they'll be much wiser, knowing fully well the kind of conditions that are on offer, and also allowed them to see what are the few areas that they really need to work on when you're playing in Dubai. So I don't think India could have asked for a better start to the tournament.
Okay, Nikhil, I think maybe a word on Shubman Gill here. Obviously, has gotten multiple ODI hundreds. I think it was his 8th ODI 100 this time around. But do you think it was like his best ODI knock till date? Knowing the conditions here, they weren't really good. Like they weren't really, the best for batting, low and slow wickets. So, do you think one of the most matured knocks, definitely, but one of the best, his best in ODIs?
That's a tough question, very tough question. I wouldn't want to hazard a guess at the moment. The man's got 200, right? So,
Yeah,
so
New
I know
Zealand.
the different conditions, so it's going to
Yeah,
be very
exactly.
tough to go past that. But I have a tougher question, and I want all of you to, in 20, 30 seconds, tell me the answer to that, and with reasons. It's pertaining to Shubman, so I'm just, taking that forward. Who is your man of the match? Shubman Gill, Mohammad Shami, and why?
Mohammad Shami, I think he set up the win for you because let's just, I think for me, I think it's basically going to be a no-brainer because Shami, first of all, he struck twice in the first few overs. What that made sure is that Bangladesh did not really get off to a flying start, and towards the end, let's just remember that even when Jakir Ali got out, Bangladesh still had the likes of Rishad Hussain and Tawhid Hridoy. Through them, they could have basically crossed 250 also. So basically what Mohammad Shami had towards the end made sure that he, got those wickets, and then Bangladesh could not really get past 250.
I personally would have given the man of the match to Shubman Gill, and that's exactly what has happened. He
Yes.
has been given the man
Yeah.
of the match award. It's not Mohammad Shami. And the reason why I would have done that is that I think he applied himself really well. On a wicket where we saw that batters were struggling to score runs, it felt like Shubman Gill is batting on a completely different surface. He was playing at ease. The way he actually countered the balls, he only attacked the balls that were there to be attacked. The kind of flick shots that he played, be it aerial, be it grounded, he really calculated his cricket. It wasn't even a slow knock, keeping in mind the conditions that were there. He picked his balls and really played his shots well as well. And that's why I think Shubman Gill is known to be that next big thing in Indian cricket, because the day he bats, I think he looks really elegant and he applies himself really well. One thing that I also wanted to ask is that do you think that this tournament Shubman Gill could be the arrival of Shubman Gill? We were expecting this to happen during the 23 ODI World Cup, where we thought that maybe it could be the tournament of Shubman Gill, it could be the moment where Shubman Gill arrives. But he had dengue over there, he wasn't able to begin the tournament, and then was a little slow to start off the blocks. But here he started from the beginning, and what better way to actually get a century. In fact, this takes me back to the 2011 World Cup, where we saw Virat Kohli scoring a ton of the first game against the same opposition, and sort of gives me the same nostalgic vibes here with Shubman Gill as well.
Well, I think
Okay, before I answer that, and before Siddharth comes in with his, I want to hear Siddharth's also man of the match. But just one question to Shashwat because of what he said. He said that what he liked about the fact that it looked like Gill was batting on a different pitch. You're not going to say the same for KL Rahul. He's also 41 not out. Shashwat.
No, even KL Rahul for that matter, even though it wasn't a clean innings, he gave a chance, but I still would want him to come even higher up the order. But yeah, and that's the reason
Okay.
why
Yeah,
I would
Siddharth.
want.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Shubman Gill for me is the man of the match for a simple reason. He adapted to the situation. Any kind of situation you threw him, he adapted very well to it. When Rohit Sharma was going all guns blazing, he complimented him, stabilized the innings when there were some mishaps in the middle overs. And towards the end, there was this calmness about him, which is why I think Shubman Gill deserved to be the player of the match. Sure, Mohammad Shami set it up, but in the end, you won primarily because you were in a bit of a sticky situation.
Okay.
And it needed Shubman Gill to take you over the line.
Okay, as far as I'm concerned, this probably is the only time where I'm struggling to pick a clear-cut winner. If you are a regular watcher of our Sports Today program, you've seen our discussion. Most of the time, all of us end up picking one. I've also been like that. I always end up picking one. This was the only time, and I was thinking about this while I was walking, getting ready for the show, that who am I going to pick? And I could think of valid reasons from both sides. And then eventually, I told myself it's the first time for me, it's a dead heat, where I could not think who's contributed more. But I still have an answer. I don't want to leave it, on the fence. I'll tell you who I'm picking and why. But why I thought is simply because Gill, I agree. You have already, spoken about the points that, he was the fulcrum around which the team revolved and ensured that you go past the line. And Shami is important. Not only did he give you the early breakthroughs, but also those breakthroughs at the end. It could have given Bangladesh a total which could have been far more challenging for India. Who knows? So I think cricketing-wise, both have an equal merit. But the reason I am going to pick one, and as I said, cricketing reason, no, is going to be Mohammad Shami. And I'll tell you why. I'm picking it more for the circumstances. So here's a bowler
Correct.
who all of us had doubts about. He was injured. He comes back from injury, and we weren't sure whether he's the same Mohammad Shami. Gets into a big tournament, has to be the leader of the pack, no Jasprit Bumrah, and delivers the goods and picks that 5 wickets. So I think it's a more off the field reason, looking at the circumstances, looking at the bigger picture. I would have probably given it to Mohammad Shami. And again, as I said, there's no right or wrong answer. Even Shubman, as I said, equally deserves it. But the only thing, as I said, was the reason Shami's comeback and the fact that Shubman, this was in his comfort zone. Now, what I'm trying to say is that the pitch wasn't easy to bat on, I agree. But this was his comfort zone where you really did not have a big total where you had to go berserk, right? That's the only point somewhere you might say. It's not that Shubman cannot increase the strike rate. We've seen him do that. He does that in T20 cricket. He did it in the IPL. It's not that he can't do it. But all I'm saying is this is his comfort zone, this kind of a total where you have to play a runner ball sort of a innings, a boundary here and there, and he hit some fantastic ones, including sixes. So all of that is there, but more so in his comfort zone. Whereas for Shami, from the comeback that he's doing. So for these reasons, I would have given that slight edge to Shami, and maybe he would have been my man of the match. But I don't think the commentators who end up picking the man of the match have done anything wrong. Shubman Gill deserves it equally. Now to the question, and maybe then we can discuss to the question that Shashwat asked, that is it the coming of Shubman Gill? I like the comparison that you make about Virat Kohli getting that 100 in the opening game of the 2011 World Cup, and then from there on. But I think the slight difference is that Virat was not really rated to be a top player. See, he was a young gun, under 19 captain. Yes, he was fighting hard, but I don't think a lot of people were convinced that he's going to be a future great. With Shubman, that's not the case. Every time since he's come to international cricket, everyone's marked him out as he's the guy. So, for example, because you do the Virat comparison, Shubman's called the prince, the king, the prince, whereas Virat during that time did not have the benefit of anyone calling him the prince. Nobody knew that he's going to be king. But with Shubman, you've already been saying that. And I think, to be fair to Shubman, I never had any doubts with him. One, in white ball cricket, he's always been up to the mark, especially ODI format. He's been very good for India, which is why we were all very surprised that you tried to do things like get Yashasvi, even look at how he's doing and then push Shubman Gill. That's one thing. And secondly, in Asian conditions, he's been top-notch in any format. I think the real test will be in swinging, seaming conditions, but there too in white ball, which doesn't do much. I think he's already established himself as one of the leading batters, and that's exactly what you got from him here.
At the time when Virat Kohli was really emerging into the scene, I remember at that time also the comparison about who being the next big thing in Indian cricket used to be between Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. And now cut to 2020.
But Rohit was far ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
Rohit was far ahead, if you remember,
Rohit,
when he started off.
Yeah, definitely. Rohit was far ahead, but now cut to 2025, we have two other young boys in the form of Yashasvi Jaiswal and Shubman Gill. And sort of just gives me the nostalgic vibe where Yashasvi Jaiswal's playing style really similar to one of Rohit Sharma, both coming from Bombay. On the other hand, you have Virat Kohli and Shubman Gill, both coming from the northern belt and having the same kind of, playing style as well.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, if you look at it, Shubman Gill, ever since the 2018 knock, 2018 was the coming of Shubman Gill, and he's not disappointed, not looked back. But yes, the challenges are in the Sena countries.
Yeah.
In the Asian conditions, as Nikhil pointed out, in any format, he is the top player when you look at test matches. Look at his record in Asian countries, top notch. Look at his record in ODIs, top notch. In one particular, I will never forget Shubman Gill's the first 6 months of 2023, in which he scored 100 or a double 100 in all three formats at that time. ODI, Test, T20I, all done within a matter of 3 weeks, if I'm not wrong. So, Shubman Gill, yes, He is establishing himself. Yes, 2023 he had that attack of dengue, which he didn't recover from fully.
Yeah.
But still, he had a decentish ODI World Cup. Let's make no mistake about it. So he was very, very good today, as we saw, using the feet against the spinners. In these conditions, absolute master.
And something that I've noticed about Shubman Gill recently is that when he's in the best of his form, I've seen the utilization of that short arm jab is
Yes.
quite more, much more frequent. He's utilizing that shot much more, and that shot, it's just
But
sort of
that-
he's one of the players who plays it really, really well. I remember when he was playing that under 19 World Cup in 2018, that was his go-to shot. He was in the best of his forms, and now suddenly he's back in form.
But
He's
remember,
using that shot much more.
even when he was in top form, that short arm pull led to his downfall in the 2023 World Cup final.
Yeah.
Straight
went-
to Adam Zampad mid-on.
That's
Mid-on.
one thing. When he's at the peak of his form, then I think he knows how to place it. That did just went a little straight.
It
forward.
went a little
I
alright.
think, obviously, Shubman Gill did.
Okay, I wanna.
Yeah.
No, after you, Siddharth. After you, Siddharth.
Okay, so I think obviously we've talked a bit about Shubman Gill here, the kind of knock that he played. Obviously, one of the matured knocks that he's played in the ODI format. Maybe something on KL Rahul now, because once again he's turned out to be India's crisis man. You talk about a big tournament, a big match, and he's the one who raises his hand first, steps up to the plate, and once again he has done that. 144 did have a slice of luck also, but then I think sometimes. And he has once again shown that his batting position is probably being moved for no particular
Again.
This
reason.
is the only reason why I have a problem. He batted brilliantly. Even I want him to come up the order in place of Akshar Patel. But calling him a crisis man, I think it would be too soon, because again, for me, crisis man is more about playing the knock on.
He asks
No,
for
no, no.
trouble every time,
no.
and I am going to
I'm saying-
again go after you for
No,
this.
no, no. I'm saying
okay,
on
too soon.
Big days.
No,
Big days,
acha,
big
my
days.
goodness. Okay. What more of a big occasion do you need? India are 2 for 3 in Chepauk, World Cup opener, and he scores 97. Is that not a big enough occasion? Okay, forget that. I'll give you a smaller occasion. 60 against Sri Lanka when you are staring down the barrel in Eden Gardens.
No, the point.
Okay?
The point
Again, I am
here
not
is-
finished.
Okay.
Here, the Akshar Patel promotion failed.
Yeah, I'm also saying
Just
that
in
he
this
should come
match,
up.
Just
up
in
the
this
order.
match,
I'm not
but I
saying that.
hope, again, it's an amber signal of caution. Don't try to experiment for the heck of it. You are once again doing the same thing. KL Rahul being a team man, KL Rahul being a yes man. Oh, please, let's demote him. Let's demote him. He'll do wonders anyway, but somewhere down the line in the long run, it will hurt you. All those KL doubters, I agree, you got your point in tests. Agree, you got your point in T20Is. But please, in ODIs, leave him alone, at least in the batting bit.
Yeah, at number 5. Yeah.
At least in the batting. Keeping, yes, he missed the stumping today in all other occasions. It could have become even more costlier.
No, because the point here is that sometimes, or in fact most of the times, 66 of 106 is more easy to remember than 97 of 114.
No, again, that 66 of 107, look at when it came. It came in a World Cup final. And now people are flooding memes. Oh, why is there no FIR registered against KL Rahul? He should have been put behind bars for that kind of knock. That is the thing. And KL, yet again, very, very unfairly treated, but he continues to hold his own.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that is
I
why.
totally agree with all of what you're saying, Sidvi sir. I'm not denying anything. I'm saying he should not even bat at this number. He should be batting at number 5. But the only thing is that I feel that it's way too soon to call somebody a crisis man. See, because again,
I have given you
call
3
that
years.
a Ben Stokes. No, but again, on the day when it's important, would have you been knocked out if you would have lost that game against Australia? No. Would have you been knocked out if you would have lost that Sri Lanka game? No. Would have you lost the game today if he did not score the runs and you would have been knocked out? No. I would want him to score runs on the bigger occasions because he's been part of them as well.
Again.
2019. No, I can give you
Your
example.
same logic. Your same
2019
logic.
semi-finals. 2019 semi-finals.
Everyone
Yeah.
failed.
Everyone
Everyone.
But then, no, because
Everyone.
everyone failed, that doesn't
Your
mean-
logic in that sense is okay. If India would have lost the opening game, then India shouldn't have gone to the final of the World Cup. Logic. Logic number 2. Sri Lanka would have won the series then. Logic number 3. In this particular instance, how on earth can you justify the
You
fact
would
that
not
he
have
didn't?
won this game.
Exactly.
You would not have won this
You would
game.
not have won.
Which
Who
is
knows
a-
what would have happened? Hardik Pandya was not fully fit. Ravindra Jadeja, you don't know under pressure situations how he copes up.
I think with KL
For
Rahul,
far
this is the
too
problem.
long-
He shows brilliance in spurts and then suddenly
for far too long. I'm again saying,
I think he should be left alone. Outside now is also.
I have given you 3 years of a sample
I have
size.
also given you 3 examples.
But that warped logic of yours that, oh, if that had happened, this would have happened, this would have happened,
But
that
I'm
would have
telling you
happened.
3 other occasions
The
as well.
same warped logic isn't going to get you
You've given me
anywhere.
3 occasions. I've given
It's
you
fact.
3 occasions.
It's a
Which
fact.
Ones are the no.
It's a fact.
Which ones are the more
You are
important
giving
ones?
a very hypothetical situation.
Arey,
What would have happened?
I am saying
giving you
23
facts.
final, 2019 semi-final. Both
You
occasions-
can't include 2019 semi-final for the simple logic. Everybody failed. Everybody
But
failed.
we are just talking about one person at this point.
2023, who failed? You
But
failed
if
as a
you're talking about
collective unit.
everybody, then during the 23 against Australia, even Virat scored.
You failed collectively as a
No,
unit.
But that day others also performed. Now then, if
No,
that's
no
how
one
you're going
performed.
about this.
Sorry, no one
Virat
performed in
Kohli during
2023.
Australia
No.
23.
Okay, guys.
You did not perform in 2023. You did not perform as a unit.
Okay,
Not a single aspect failed in that.
Let's move on.
Which is why your logic is so flawed in that
No,
sense.
but I'm telling you 2 occasions where he did not perform where it was important.
I have given you 4-5 occasions,
Arey,
and
I am saying-
it trumps your own basic thing in that way, because you are just creating a narrative, a fake narrative.
I'm not
in that
creating
sense.
any fake narrative.
It
All
is.
I'm trying to say that I totally agree that he's batted great. He should be batting at number 5. But just to call him the crisis man of the Indian team.
Again,
is too
yaar,
soon,
I've given
is
you
what I'm
4 instances, yaar.
None
I've
of
given
that
you 4
occasion-
instances,
I
and
have given
everywhere
you
when you failed as a collective unit, not because of KL Rahul alone. KL Rahul didn't lose you 2019. KL Rahul alone didn't lose you in 2023. Now, if this is not a definition of a crisis man in 4
1/3 of the
consecutive.
innings,
Okay,
during the 23
who
final.
succeeded? Who succeeded?
Vishisar, then today
Who
there-
succeeded in 2023?
Today there are other. Shubman Gill should be a crisis manager then in that sense. If
No,
if
you need
others-
somebody
no,
at the other end.
No,
You needed somebody at the other end. You froze in 2023 as a unit. 2019, you froze as a unit. Simple end of story. That time, nobody stepped up. Nobody stepped up in that particular period of time. But yes, I would like to ask Nikhil in this. I mean, we have had a very heated debate here about KL Rahul. But what is your take? He agrees.
I am not getting into the 2023 World Cup because we have discussed it a million times.
Yeah.
Who's responsible? That's a date that I want to forget. Having said that about KL Rahul, I know. I mean, it's a topic that we can go on for very long. But just to sum up my 2 bits about him, I think one-day cricket, he's proven that he's a very important cog in the wheel. He needs to be there. You can have questions about his wicket keeping. I think missed a stumping today, a crucial stumping at that. But I think that's something you'll have to take with a makeshift wicketkeeper in that sense. But he also, let's remember, took a very good catch of Tanzim at the time when he was batting very well. It looked like he could take Bangladesh, and he started off very well. And nobody was convinced, but he took that catch, was convinced, and it was eventually out. So, I mean, he had good moments, he had bad moments. But if I look at his batting, I think, at that stage, when Akshar gets out, they could have been panic in the dressing room. So I think he calmed the nerves down. And I was speaking to somebody in the press box at that time, and you said, oh, maybe India can be in trouble. I said, no, they have the perfect 2 guys to take you to safe shores. And because of their temperament, and these kind of situations. I know there was a drop catch, but that's part and parcel of the game. There have been many great innings where catches have been dropped at multiple times. There's been a no ball and so on and so forth. Sometimes you're unlucky, you get out very easily. Sometimes you're lucky, a catch is dropped here and there. But other than that, it was a good inning. Running between the wicket once or twice could have been close. But overall, I think controlled inning. You needed a man like KL at that time. 41 not out on a low-scoring pitch is a sizable contribution. So I think that will give him also a lot of confidence, and the Indian team a lot of confidence going forward. That's my bit about KL. But the point that I wanted to ask all of you was, if there is an area that I'm worrying about, and KL is the least of our worries at the moment, is Virat Kohli's form. I know that's an elephant in the room. And why I'm getting to talk is it's not just one inning. We saw this trend, leg spinner, Adil Rashid, in the England series, getting him out again and again. Believe you me, and why I'm bringing this, we were 5-6 of us sitting together watching Virat, and we said, okay, he's looking good. But then, imagine, all of us agreed that wait till Rishad comes, the leggy comes, and things will be different. Sure enough, he came, couple of misses, and he's like, oh, this could have been an edge, this couldn't have been an edge. And then he plays that cut straight to the fielder at point, out. So now, none of us were surprised. And this is, everyone said it in unison. What my point is that it's now become a norm. Virat getting out used to be an exception anyway. Forget the bowler. But now in getting out on leg spinner in this fashion, like it's become a norm in red ball cricket, edging and getting out. I think, again, bad form, slumps are different things. But it's not just bad form or slump, or it's not just one, different dismissals at different time. It's the same thing happening again and again. And that makes me wonder and question myself, can this be rectified? Because it's not that Virat wouldn't have thought about it. If you and I are talking about it, here's a man who's a legend in cricket, who's got runs across the globe, who's been a certified match winner, dare I say the greatest of his generation. Surely these thoughts have gone in his mind. He's worked on different things in net practice, spoken to various people, different coaches, everything is done. But he's not finding a solution, and that has me worried. I don't know what everyone else thinks.
I feel that I personally feel that it's really heartbreaking to see Virat Kohli so helpless, to be very honest, because now it's become really easy to get a Virat Kohli out. It's really sad that I'm saying this, but just the fact that just before we were talking about this, the host broadcasters were showing a pitch map of how much the ball was turning before Virat Kohli got out. So the ball, it was a very well laid out plan and a very simple one which Virat Kohli fell into, and that is something that aren't great signs, because you know what, to begin with, the ball, the leggy took the ball away from Virat Kohli twice. On the third ball also he took it away deliberately. That point fielder, I felt, was kept a little squarish, and then that ball was sent in a little straight, and Virat Kohli fell into that trap, going for the cut, expecting the ball to turn and trying to beat that fielder on point, but not realizing that the fielder on point has been moved a little bit square because of a specific reason, because that ball wasn't going to turn that much. It was the one that was going to stay straight, and Virat Kohli, expecting that the ball was going to turn, that wasn't the case. It top edged at the upper half of the bat, and it went straight to the fielder. The fielder did not even have to move an inch. So it was a very simple plan, which from here, we sitting here also could figure out, but unfortunately Virat Kohli fell into it, and I think that was just playing on Virat Kohli's mind. He did not realize that there was a plan being set, rather than he was, I think, focusing more on the bowler, more on the delivery, and how to get those runs early on. Because to begin with as well, Virat Kohli took a lot of time to get off the strike. He was trying for that single, he was desperate for it, but that wasn't happening. So I feel at this point Virat Kohli has reached a stage where he is really, really desperate for runs. And when that situation comes at a point of a career, at a point in a career, then I think things, I don't know how can things really change or not.
I think I'll probably take us all, back to 2011 when India toured Australia for this 4-match series in Border Gavaskar Trophy. India were blanked 4-0. And there was Rahul Dravid who got out in a similar fashion.
Bold.
With the likes of Ben Hilfinos, Peter Siddle, and all the other bowlers that Australia had. There was Mitchell Starc also. He was consistently being beaten on the inside edge. There was clear gap between his bat and pad, and he was consistently getting bowled. So I remember, I think when he retired, one of the reporters, I think, probably asked him this question that, what was the reason behind you getting out in a similar fashion? And he said that I could have corrected it, but the point is that maybe the age is not on my side, because when you are on the wrong side of your 30s, such kind of dismissals or such kind of weaknesses become very hard to overcome. And maybe that is the thing that's actually happening with Virat Kohli. Whether he'll be able to find a solution to that or not, well, that remains to be seen. But then one thing is for sure, that it's not 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Now it's been more than 5 years, and his worries against spin are very much visible.
I mean, when you look at it, you saw this record against off spin, left arm spin, and against leg spin. Leg spin in the New Zealand series and the Bangladesh series, that didn't happen because there was no proper leg spinner. But credit for the pressure being built has to be given to Mehdi Hasan. Mehdi Hasan kept bowling straight and on the stumps to him, which is why he could not rotate the strike and score freely. There was a fielder placed at short mid-wicket, there was a fielder placed in the close range where he could have easily milled the singles. That didn't happen with him. Now, again, delivery that is going away, delivery outside the off stump. He edges it, or he cuts it, or he falls for it. This is the problem that Virat has had, and we did an analysis on the spin during the New Zealand series. In this group, you've got Santner, Bracewell, and Glenn Phillips, who are going to trouble him in Dubai. In the Pakistan team, you probably have an Abrar. who might do the same thing. Abrar is more of a skidder when you look at it. He's not much of a leg spinner when you
That's
look
why
at it.
there's a might there because he might succeed also.
He might. But yes, there is a pattern that has emerged. And I don't know how Virat will overcome that rut. I really don't know how. But yes, should you be worried? You should be. Okay, so you should be really, really worried about Virat Kohli. And he didn't look good. He looked sluggish. And let us be very honest about it.
Let's to be very honest.
Even that 50 against England in Ahmedabad, he was really sluggish. Patchy, very patchy in that sense. So that is our two bits about Virat Kohli. Nikhil, I think it was sluggish to begin.
Yeah, I just want to take a few comments. What happens usually that you take comments at the end, and that's fine. You should do that. But I see some comments which are pertaining to our discussion and exactly the points that we discussed. So it's good to take them now rather than later. Sandpaper, one of our regular watcher, he says that you are talking about Shubman performing under pressure, but this is probably, he feels, the first time Shubman has performed under pressure, because we had that discussion as well. Sarthak Arya says that he agrees with Shashwat that crisis man plays 107 balls and hits one boundary in a World Cup final. He can't be a crisis man, is what he feels. And he says also Bangladesh dropped his catch. Again, what Sarthak is saying, we may agree, disagree, and he's not 100% right, but I'm just taking all the comments of our viewers pertaining to the bits that we've discussed. Sarthak also says that Shami took a fifer for sure, but he leaked runs, didn't look at his best, so might not be effective against a better batting side. So this is pertaining to the debate that we had as to who should be the man of the match, whether it should be Mohammad Shami or Shubman Gill. So yeah, these are just some of the comments that we have on our discussion.
Yeah, I mean, if we have to look at it, see, we can come back to Sarthak Arya's thing about crisis man, KL Rahul and all the things. We can come a bit later. But then it is a big problem that is there when it comes to Virat.
Yeah.
It's a problem. Let us acknowledge it. We are not peddling an agenda or anything. The stats are right there. It is a problem. BGT and New Zealand series was the highlight of that problem. This is only adding up to it. Now, what can I say about the fact that, he still managed a 50, but that 50 was sloppy. It was very sluggish when you look at it. He survived. Here, didn't look in rhythm at all. This is a worry. And Nikhil, again, Rohit Sharma gets off to a blazing start, but again falls in the 40s. I mean, again, the aggressive approach is there, but what do you make of it? Consistently it's happening. Won't it hurt the team in the long run?
Siddharth, that's very interesting. I think just let's take a look at this game. And there are two ways of looking at it. In fact, this is the conflict that I had in my head as well. And, two voices, one telling me maybe he should have batted differently, one saying maybe he did the right thing. Let me just put forward both the arguments that were going through my head. One, of course, I think he may have done the right thing, knowing fully well that, batting here was getting tougher as the match progresses. If you remember, we spoke to Harbhajan Singh before this game started, and he said batting first is a good idea because as the match progresses, batting second gets tougher unless there is dew. So there was no dew. Maybe, I think in Rohit's mind, the way he batted is down to the fact that he thinks once the ball gets slightly older and the pitch is getting tired, it might be tougher to get runs. So the best time is those initial overs and the ball's really coming onto the bat. You can hit a few strokes. And I think that was his approach, that let me utilize that. The other thing Rohit has started doing, which is commendable, is that he stopped putting a lot of price on his wicket to ensure that, he's an anchor. He said, okay, fine, we have multiple anchors in this team. And truth be told, they do. There are multiple players who can play the grinding it out game, whether it's Virat, to an extent, it's Shubman Gill or a KL Rahul. But there are a few that can give you a rollicking start. So I think he's playing that role. And with these conditions in mind, he may have thought that, okay, new ball, good ball, hard ball. Let me get those 40 odd, 50 odd, whatever I can get quickly, bring the total down, have a solid start. And from there on, then our grinders can take it. That I think is the only possible solution. The other way of looking at it is that this is a sluggish pitch. Why do you want to be in a risky situation? You got out, and then there were two other wickets that fell. Shreyas Iyer fell, Akshar Patel fell. So, could have set the cat amongst the pigeon. What if, KL Rahul's catch was taken? Then would you have been in trouble? So those are the other arguments which can say in favor of Rohit Sharma. If you ask my personal opinion, I'll go with the first one. I think with the conditions in mind, the way he's been batting. Remember, he got 100 against England as well. I think let him play that role. You have to have multiple players doing multiple roles. Let him play that role. Even today, as I said, I think it's a comfortable win. Had you even lost, KL Rahul to that catch, hypothetically, I think you still have a lot of quality in this batting line. And remember, we're talking about pushing everyone up. There's a Hardik Pandya who's been looking outstanding in the net practice. He's not even getting a chance to bat. Then there is a Jadeja who's more than capable in these conditions. I think the only sort of a criticism that goes to Ravindra Jadeja in white ball cricket sometimes is that he doesn't give you those big shots. He won't bat at 200 strike rate. But I think these kind of conditions will suit him very well. The man's famous for getting big hundreds, playing for Saurashtra in Ranji Trophy, sometime on minefields as well. He bats on minefields and knows that art of getting those runs. So I think these are conditions that might suit that Indian batting. So if you've got that batting and then you've been stuck on the fact that you have to play 8 batters, if you are, and now it also tells you why Rohit is so keen on playing 8 batters. Maybe because he wants to bat like that, give his team a start, because if he does, then it becomes comfortable for the rest of them, and then they can play their natural game and go over the line. So it's going to be interesting. What I can tell you from the pitch, and I think we'll discuss a lot, it's not a very good pitch. I wouldn't rate it very highly, which makes the India-Pakistan game interesting. And I think this will give hope to Pakistan, because the truer the surface, the better the batting pitch. I think the gap between India-Pakistan increases, and India becomes more and more favorite, because I think that's the quality that India has. The worse the pitch, the margin comes down and gives the underdog a chance. So looking at that pitch, if you'd asked me before this game started, I would have said India clear-cut favorites, no chance for Pakistan. But looking at this pitch, I'm still saying India clear-cut favorites. There is that slight chance, back of the head, Pakistan will be okay. Because when you get these kind of dirty pitches, who knows? A mini collapse here and there, things can really turn around.
Yep. So the pitch might be the ultimate equalizer in India-Pakistan game, but India still start as the favourites when you look at, because their problems seem a little less as compared to Pakistan. Pakistan have got plenty of issues. Their bowlers are not in form, their batters are not in form, and there is a big question mark over their confidence. And now, in the past decade or so, Pakistan kind of have this mental block against India when you look at most formats. I mean, ODIs and T20Is primarily, you haven't played tests for 17, 18 years against them. ODIs, when you look at it, the gap is huge. And if you look at Dubai, Pakistan in 2 games against India in Dubai have picked a combined total of 3 wickets. And it's not going to get any easier for them. So Nikhil's left us in Dubai. I think he'll go and attend the press conference and all the things that's going to happen. And I don't know who will come for the press conference. And I think, Rohit, we'll take some comments at this point.
But maybe I think before we take the comments here, a few words on Harshit Rana. Like, what he has probably done in this game is pretty much remarkable. I think he bowled pretty well with the new ball also this time around. Picked 3 wickets. Proved to be economical, something that wasn't really to be the case in the England series. Does he start for you in the Pakistan game?
See, 3 for 31. I had said wait on the Harshit experiment if you want to ensure that your batting buffer is there. Okay, he didn't get a chance to bat. He bowled pretty well. Now again, Harshit in the ODIs against England also got 3 wickets.
Correct.
So on what standing could you have dropped a Harshit Rana? Now here, he's not harmed his chances. It would be unfair on Harshit Rana if he's dropped for the Pakistan game now. Considering he's bowled well. Let's make no mistake about it. 3 for 31, he bowled
No, but the problem with Harshit Rana, what I feel is that little that we have seen of him till now in the international circuit, I think he has no backup plan. With oppositions like Bangladesh, you can sort of be a one-trick pony. You can, in a way, exercise your one thing that you have, that pace, that bounce that he has, exploits, the shortest length, because what Rohit Sharma also said, he's hit the deck sort of a bowler. But on days when you have teams who can play the short ball well, what will Harshit Rana do on that day? We saw him. He was found wanting during the Australian, during the BJT as well. First game, I think he got those wickets.
Yeah, then second game he was taken over.
He was taken over because the Australians also realized that he has just one trick. And despite the fact Harshit Rana had 2 fielders on the boundary protecting that short ball, despite that fact a certain Travis Head was able to pierce the gap over there. So when there are quality oppositions, what is Harshit Rana go to? And I personally would not want to take that chance to see what Harshit Rana has up his sleeve. I have the whole FTP cycle after this, where I can see this is not the place. I know Ardeep, he is good with the new ball. He has variations. He has a good Yorker as well. He has a good slower one as well. He can bowl with both the balls, and that's the reason why I would still, despite Harshit Rana picking up wickets, despite that fact, I would go, after I would go pick Arshdeep Singh. And on many occasions, I'm not counting Harshit Rana any less, but on occasions, there's this bowler you want to go after and end up giving him a lot of wickets. That's also a very big reason why I'm not going to see too much into the wickets, because on a given day, Harshit Rana has the capability to go for much more runs, which can actually hurt India's chances.
Okay.
Harshit Rana might be like wondering, okay, who's our chief selector at this point in time? Ajit Agarkar. There are shades of Ajit Agarkar in Harshit Rana.
You're talking about action-wise.
Not action. Ajit Agarkar would leak plenty of runs, but he would take you wickets.
No, 191 matches, 288 wickets.
288, but then again,
is no mean feat.
But economy of 5 always held out against him in that era. Okay, at this point in time, he's taking wickets, but he's conceding runs. Where have we heard that before? We heard it in Ajit Agarkar's era.
Yeah.
Okay. Batter, I don't know how he's going to shape up. But then yes, we saw in the BGT he didn't have a plan. He didn't have a plan B in that sense. When he was taken to the cleaners, he was taken to the cleaners.
I don't know why are we assessing him as a batter. How many people are we going to assess as batters?
See, when you look at the fish to water comment, it was totally misplaced in red ball cricket.
Yeah.
Harshit Rana has played far little first class cricket to ensure he takes a fish. He's like a fish to water in tests. But maybe in white ball cricket, perhaps it might work. On current grounds or whatever we saw in England, in the England series and now this, I don't know how you can drop a Harshit Rana for even Pakistan. But I think looking at the team, how it is going on, I think they would prefer getting an Arshdeep for some other crunch game. That could probably happen. So yeah.
I think I'm actually tempted to go with Shashwat here. I would go with Arshdeep Singh. It makes sense to have him because in the game against Pakistan, it's not probably just going to be about winning. I think India, if they are to make the semi-finals, I think they'll have to make a statement also.
No, it's a double thing. You knock Pakistan out, you go into the semi-finals.
Absolutely.
Simple in that sense. So shall we take some comments?
Yeah, Vishal Panchal
from the US.
Gautam Gambhir thinks India lost ODI World Cup 2023 due to no left-hander in the middle order. For KL, he's probably like a joker card, always in game, yet never given place to belong.
But yeah, Gautam Gambhir is right.
But
that
sometimes
one-dimensional nature of the Indian batting really hurt you.
And that's a good opinion actually.
That one-dimensional nature hurt you, and that is why I think Gambhir's point was absolutely spot on. But yeah, KL Rahul shuffled around like there is no tomorrow.
True.
But it happens. That's KL's kismet in that sense. Rahul Tikekar, don't wish easy wins. Let them fight in every match. Otherwise, it will be a repeat of 2023 World Cup, like one-sided wins in groups, one bad day in final.
No, but you need at least one win to make a statement.
But again, boss, you can't compare 2023.
Yeah.
Can't. Again,
on a different level
in 2017, you lost one game, yet you lost the final also. 2019, you lost one game, you had one bad game. Yet you lost in the semi-final.
That's why the first knock that KL Rahul played doesn't make any significance.
Okay. It does.
As compared to
It does. Australia were 2 for 3. Anything could have happened.
Okay, let's go on.
I love mutton biryani.
Rohit's decision of 5 spinners now seems right. I think Harshit did not play cause of batting, but cause Gautam Gambhir thinks he's a better batter than Arshdeep.
He's better than she didn't say on which particular aspect.
Yeah,
but I think, it's again GG bias. I don't think so. Nothing's been proven yet. So I think he's just going because he's having a very good year in this when you look at it. Last couple of months has been very good for Harshit Rana.
Yeah.
Dhanush, Virat Kohli in last 1 year successfully reduced his batting average in T20s and tests. Now he's on a mission to reduce his batting average in ODIs.
I think that's not a very
It's
nice
not
thing to
charitable.
say.
But then see, amongst the Fab Four, Virat has an average of 15 tests only in India. He doesn't have a 50 plus average in any other country, which is a big problem. Sarthak Arya, Shami took a fifer for sure, but he leaked runs, didn't look at his best at all. Might not be as effective against a better batting side, but then Shami leaked runs even in the World Cup. 7 for 57, 5 for 56, but then it gave you victories, isn't it?
True.
Victory is what it matters, okay? Sarthak Arya, I agree with Shash. Crisis Man plays 107 balls and it's one boundary. Okay. Crisis Man is going to perform when everyone fails. Sarthak Arya, you've actually confounded your own opinion. Because in 2019, 2017, 2023, everyone failed. Everyone.
But here also others performed, na?
Who? Where?
Here today also others performed, that day also others performed. If we are counting how others performed
Okay.
on bad days, then we should also count how others performed.
Who
on good
performed
days.
in the, along with KL Rahul, who performed in that Australia game?
Virat.
So that's
What
what we
so?
give credit now for that.
No.
But
no,
then
that's
you
why I
credit
think- I
for
think-
good knocks, you want to credit others. But then when you have a bad day, you want to single out only one person.
Who's singling him out? I didn't start with it. All I'm saying is not.
You
a
wanted a
crisis
bigger
man.
sample size.
Okay.
You wanted a bigger sample
Let's
size. That's
move
the
on.
problem.
Let's move on. I think sandpaper.
Sandpaper
we have this
taken,
comment
yeah.
also. First
Vishal
time
Panchal, if Shreyas had played well, Shashwat would have dubbed him the crisis man, isn't it? I'm no fan of anyone except Sachin. Just give credit when it's due, please. To each his or own. I would say
that's fine.
Shreyas Iyer, yes, he has performed in certain situations, but yes,
No, I
he's
would not
failed.
have certified him as the crisis man of
We don't
Indian
know.
cricket.
We don't know
I
what would have
wouldn't
happened.
for sure.
We really don't know what would have happened because
Yeah, Ashish Dhar says that New Zealand would have defended 228 on such a pitch against India. I kind of like that.
no. Again, very subjective.
I think
Come
it's
to know on
possible.
second, na?
Second, we'll come
It
to
might
know.
just be a dead rubber. You might not even, need
Yeah.
that match for a decision as to who
Yeah.
goes through.
Yeah. Yes.
Until and unless.
Yeah. Sachin Kashyap, I think we are today scratchy for me. Ball is
Yeah.
turning thanks to dropped catch of KL. Otherwise we are
Just
gone.
hold
Yeah.
on there, please. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a scratchy kind of a thing. Freaking awesome. Although the wicket is slow, it will not. What's going on?
Sankalp, just hold on there.
Just hold. Yeah.
Freaking awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, just hold on there.
Although the wicket is slow, it will not deteriorate. It's similar to the slow wicket in Palakele. Not one side, but some assistance to bowlers always. Palakele? No.
Not sure about it.
Not sure. See, Palakele, at least you play in certain fixed times. But this is the first time you're playing in February in Dubai. So that's why we will not know how it is until maybe the first semi-final. How the nature of the wicket has been in that sense. So Raj Das Gupta, any Bangladesh players after this game in IPL to be selected going forward? Also as replacement, I don't think your views, guys. No, I don't
I think I would be tempted to have someone like a Nahid Rana, although he did not play in this game. Maybe a Nahid Rana or a Rishad Hussain. I think Rishad is a good pick.
Yeah, I don't think so. Sridhar Savaikar, one of the better 100 for Gill in his career. First game of CT, chasing under pressure. And the best part was he stayed till the end and took the team over the line. Good that others are stepping up. Indeed. Yeah. Priyanshu, don't keep much hope with Virat on these tracks. He may struggle big time. But still, I won't count him out. He can still somehow win some big match. Iyer holds the key in these situations.
True.
His big knock is coming against Pakistan. Why? They don't have a quality leg spinner. I mean, no offense to Abrar, but he's not quality leg spinner at this point in time. I think our scrolling is just going disco in this particular sense. We have taken Sridhar Savaikar. It's like a train announcement, over and over and over again. They love trains. Our family members love trains. That is why they keep on sending the same request over and over and over again in that sense. I think it's done. I think we are done at this point in time. So yes, India's first game in the ICC Champions Trophy is done. Good win for them, but still some challenges remain. And tomorrow, Group B is going to begin with South Africa versus Afghanistan.
That's going to be a cracker.
And on Saturday, it's going to be the Ashes foes, Australia versus England. But we are all building up for 23rd, which is India versus Pakistan in the Ring of Fire. Let's see how that pans out. So from me, Shashwat and Sid Gulati, it is good night, Nandri, Vanakkam, Shubhratri, Shabba Khair, eat your vegetables.
And don't trouble them.
And stay safe. We'll be back with more updates on sports today. Bye-bye. And subscribe, please.